Ms. Cronenberg?
So thank you for coming out. Thank you for getting the 1,000 signatures. I know how very hard that is to do. And I live in El Cerrito. My children have gone through the El Cerrito schools, and are still in the El Cerrito schools until Saturday morning when she graduates. And I did not run to make things divisive in our community. That is not my purpose. And it is not my purpose to destroy your community. I was the person who had said if something had to happen, we would keep them together and move them to Alvarado. But even doing that is, I know, the end of your school. I understand that. I have looked for ways to solve this, and I'm less sure right now than I was before you came that this is the right way. I'll tell you that. You've reached me, and I am now looking at what are the other ways. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that K-8 is the way at all, but I don't know that this is the way either. So that's where I'm leaving it. Mr. Ramsey's telling you he's not sure whether we should do anything, and the reason we're doing anything is because there's a letter from the state that says that Portola has problems. That letter hasn't been, Mr. Ramsey's right, that letter hasn't been followed up on. That letter has been responded to by saying, okay, we must rebuild someplace else. We can look at it again. I hopefully want this to be, at the end of the day, a situation where the community of El Cerrito is confident that the school board really tried to find the best solution for our middle school kids. And if we have to keep looking, then we have to keep looking. And I'm willing to do that.
To the Fairmont community, I just look at this as there are two strong reasons. Number one, our priority is the students, okay? The students, from the very beginning when we were looking at the sites that we wanted, that we were considering, the children were always and should always remain as the priority. We talked about the fact that Fairmont and Castro both have strong inclusion programs. I think, and I repeat what I said before, it's wrong to take special ed students out of an environment where they are secure and strong and safe and learning. And the teachers that are in all those programs are dedicated to that program and making sure that those students learn. So those two programs are very strong, and to take Fairmont community and break it up and move it to different communities and break that up is ultimately wrong to me, and that's what I said from the very beginning. The second thing that hits me and is very emotional to me is the fact that a good majority of the homes that are to be destroyed in the Fairmont area are those of senior citizens. And that within itself is a problem to me, because if we're looking at where the market value is today, there are so many people who are having trouble selling their homes, and their value of their homes have gone down. And I don't think that is one of the considerations that we've even looked at. And just the fact of taking someone's home that they've lived in for 40 years is just, to me, ultimately wrong. And I should say the third thing is that if we're looking at Portola, yes, Portola does need a new facility, but if the community doesn't want it, then why build it?
Mr. Orozco?
I just want to say this is my second time being here, and I think it's always a great thing when the community gets together for a certain issue. I know what it feels like to fight for something very bad that you believe in, and I just want to say thank you guys for coming out here, and hopefully there's some kind of agreement that could be made, and like I said, it's strength in numbers, and I just love to know that there are so many people that are still willing to work together, and fight for a cause that they really believe in. So thank you guys for being out here and being so late. So,
Mr. Brown?
I'm very pleased that a number of my colleagues are open to rethinking this issue. I definitely was not in support of doing this. I know finding a solution to to moving Portola is a tough one, and I think Mr. Ramsey made a good point in the sense that no matter where we go or no matter how we strategize, and K-8 is one of those issues, and I've been one of those people that's been pushing that. There's always people that are going to say otherwise, and it's tough. I think that if we could ultimately, and I think that's what the process was set up to do, that Dr. Harder led, to bring folks together in El Cerrito and all those that attend Portola and all those residents of El Cerrito to come up with a solution that could work for the most people in the best possible way. And there's never a perfect solution. I feel like we went away from that at some point during the process. Maybe we're coming back to that, and if that's the case, I'm very pleased. I know that I'm one voice up here, but I think ultimately if we can find a way to make it work, I think this is true all over our district. I'm from El Sobrante, and we have issues regarding enrollment in El Sobrante. We have issues around our middle school in El Sobrante. Again, I think we have to find a way to make a compact with the community. It's your community, it's your schools, it's your school district. We have a responsibility. There are certain things we have to do, but we can take care of that responsibility in different ways. And I think the more that we can do it in conjunction, the more trust, the more goodwill that's built, and hopefully ultimately our schools, our kids will benefit. And I think that we have to start from that standpoint. And I'm glad to hear what I've heard tonight. I think it's a great step in that direction. Thank you.
Mr. Ramsey? Ms. Miles?
Mr. Ramsey, is there any way that this board can initiate that meeting?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm always open. I was with the city council last night in Pinole and with Richmond. I'll agendize that and sit down and have a joint meeting around this issue, around the middle school in El Cerrito. I have no problem talking about that in the next couple of months. I welcome that. I mean, I'll look to the superintendent, the board president, to try to agendize that and set up a special community meeting with both bodies.
We're moving on then. Thank you all for coming out tonight to the superintendent's report.
Well, tonight our report begins with preschool.